Anyone who's ever survived by hiding knows the rule. The moment you're noticed, you leave. No explanations, no hesitation. You disappear until the next host appears. By my 3rd month unemployed, I stopped being a man. I became a parasite. I lived under a bed in apartment 302, building 7 of a gated complex called Evergreen Court. The leasing brochure said, "Bright and family friendly." My world was a narrow space of dust and darkness, my cheek pressed to cold hardwood floors. That was my kingdom. I stayed alive by stealing food, always tiny amounts, always unnoticeable. My iron rule: when the host is home, I make no sound, I leave no trace. The first 2 hosts didn't last. A burned-out tech guy survived on cup noodles. Then a noisy couple who split up after one too many late-night fights. It started when his girlfriend caught him cheating, right there in bed. When the apartment sat empty for 2 days, hunger nearly forced me out. Then I heard it. High heels, sharp and steady, tapping against concrete. Tap, tap. My 3rd host had arrived. I held my breath, face pressed flat to the floor. Through the gap beneath the bedspread, I saw her ankles, graceful, balanced in polished heels. A light perfume drifted down, pushing away the stale smell of dust. I couldn't see her face, but I knew she was different, alive, vivid, like sudden sunlight breaking into a sealed room. For a moment, I forgot hunger, forgot fear. Only a strange excitement remained, rushing straight to my head.
It's way too hot today. I'm taking a shower first.
When the water started running, my heart pounded like a truck engine. Her scent, those elegant ankles, every detail felt like temptation. A reckless thought surfaced. What does she look like? Maybe I could meet her. The water stopped.
Don't peek!
My blood froze. She knew. Every survival rule screamed at once. Run, leave, now. But nothing happened. No scream, no footsteps, no confrontation. I forced myself to breathe. Maybe she meant hidden cameras. Maybe she was joking. Yes, that had to be it. She eased open her suitcase. My mind raced. A flashlight? Pepper spray? Something to scan for hidden cameras? Every item screamed the same thing. This was a woman who knew how to protect herself. My chest tightened. Was this the moment everything fell apart? Then the lights went out. The mattress sank slightly. After the rustle of blankets, only her slow, even breathing remained. I lay there, shaking, still hidden, still alive. Late that night, I crawled out. Moonlight slipped through the curtains, spilling across the bed. That was when I saw her face for the first time. Unreal. Dark hair fanned across white sheets, skin pale enough to glow. On the nightstand, her driver's license, Mia. Beside it, a bottle of sleeping pills. In the kitchen, I took only from already open food. Experience told me this much would never be noticed. Back under the bed, I whispered toward her shadow. Sleep well.
Good morning.
Life found a rhythm. She got a job, 9 to 5. Every morning at 7:30, she said good morning to an empty apartment. Every evening at 6:30, the door opened and she said, I'm home. She bought too much food. Fresh produce, yogurt, meat, more than any woman living alone could finish. Whatever she couldn't eat, she threw away. I clung to those words like a starving animal. "Good morning. I'm home." They weren't meant for me, but I let myself believe they were. Down there, in the dark, I stopped being a parasite. I became a man waiting for the woman he loved to walk through the door. Because of her, the space beneath the bed became both hell and a warped kind of heaven. I began to wish it would never end. Wednesday night, she didn't come home. 10 minutes passed. 20. An hour. The hallway stayed silent. My mind filled the quiet with nightmares, accidents, strangers, danger. This city was never kind to beautiful women living alone. I wanted to go look for her. That thought carried something reckless, almost suicidal. How long had it been since I'd stood among people? Months? Years? The world outside terrified me more than hunger. Then another thought crept in, sharper, darker. What if she's on a date? What if she brings another man back here, into a place meant only for us? If they came back together, I was ready to destroy everything. I stood in the shadows, a kitchen knife in my hand. Every second felt endless. At 9 o'clock, I grabbed the doorknob. I stumbled downstairs, the night air too cold, the streetlights too bright, cars roaring past like monsters. Just as I was about to run back inside, I saw her. Sitting alone on a bench in the courtyard, a grocery bag at her feet. She was drunk. She stood up, swayed, and sat back down. Concern crushed every other thought. I stepped out from behind the trees, straightened my back, cleared my dry throat. "Mia, are you okay?" The moment her name left my mouth, I knew I'd messed up. But she was unfocused, cheeks flushed.
I'm fine, just a little dizzy. My place is that building.
I supported her arm. Her warmth, the alcohol, her perfume. It made my head spin. This was our first touch, our first real conversation. At her door, she struggled with the keys. I took them. Our fingers brushed. Electric.
Thanks. You're really kind.
I froze. Then she added, lightly,
My boyfriend's inside already, so I won't invite you in.
"Boyfriend." The word exploded in my head. Was she talking about me? Had she known all along? Those greetings, that food, those routines. Or was it just a woman protecting herself? I stood in the dim hallway for hours, a hollow shell. Was I a hidden parasite? Or a pet she was quietly keeping? I laughed. If she accepted my presence, it was a miracle. If she didn't know, nothing changed. I crawled back under the bed. She was asleep. The room smelled faintly of alcohol. I returned the knife. My heartbeat slowed. But something had shifted forever. The next day, after she left, I opened the fridge. A bottle of milk sat beside the fruit, already opened. Condensation beaded along the plastic. On the rim, a faint red lipstick mark. My breath caught. Reason screamed. So did the rules. My hand moved anyway. This wasn't stealing. It was intimacy. A kiss stolen from the light. When I came back to myself, the bottle was empty. I'd made a mistake. The kind that always gets noticed. I clutched the bottle, panicking. That evening, she opened the fridge. 1 second. 2. No reaction. She took ingredients, closed the door, and hummed while cooking. Joy flooded me. She hadn't noticed. That night, I dreamed. A job. A home. Mia holding my hand as we walked in the sun. The next morning, a yellow sticky note waited on the fridge. "The milk's expired. Don't drink it, okay?" She knew. I should have run. But the tone was gentle, affectionate. That boyfriend, was it real or permission? I tore off the note. On the back, with her pen, I wrote 2 shaky words. "Thank you." I put it back in plain sight and hid under the bed, waiting for judgment. She stopped in front of the fridge, silent, stretched. Then, a soft laugh, warm, knowing.
Sweetheart, you finally decided to talk to me.
She called me sweetheart. My long life under the bed was finally over. I could step into the light. I lifted my head slowly to look around the room. She didn't look at me. Smiling strangely, she walked to a large black suitcase I'd never questioned. She unlocked it. Something fell out. A human body, pale, twisted, like a discarded mannequin. A man, eyes open, frozen in shock.
My name is Mia. They say I'm crazy, but they don't understand love. He's mine. I fed him, I clothed him, I gave him everything. If he belongs to me, then he should stay with me. But he wanted to leave, wanted to give his smile to someone else. So I made sure he wouldn't go anywhere, ever again. Later, we changed our surroundings, a fresh start. Now, we're very happy.
I left that night. Later, in another rental, I saw the news. They found the body. The woman didn't try to run. She just kept stepping in the way, stopping them from taking the man. They found signs of someone else living there. An unidentified intruder.
Probably just the woman's imagination.
He didn't notice the shadow behind his couch. A parasite's host is never just one. I only changed kingdoms, and I survived.